Welcome to iRose, and on this channel I talk about addiction and life after addiction, because yes, there is life after addiction. Before I start this video, I wanted to just label that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a licensed professional, and there may be some trigger warnings if you are uncomfortable or may have had an eating disorder or struggled with drug abuse. I just want to put that out there because today's video is about how going vegan triggered my eating disorders. I'm just talking from my personal experience. I think it's something that no one really talks about. I tried looking on the internet for it and nope, doesn't happen. I have really struggled with bulimia for 13 years. I struggled with it before I finally stopped. And I had anorexia when I was in middle school, kind of not knowing that what it was. Just my mom, she was trying to lose weight and she started documenting. She had like a little journal where she wrote what she ate, and I started doing that too. So I became really aware and conscious of like what I was eating. So I remember I would put like 2 plums and I just didn't eat. So I just started losing a lot of weight and I didn't really know what it was, but I was in denial of it. And yeah, so I had this history of disordered eating. And so being a vegetarian had nothing to do with that. That was just separate. I just didn't like how the meat tasted. Like it got stuck in my teeth. Like it made me feel sick. It just was a living animal that deserved to have its own life. Being bulimic, like your body automatically wants to vomit the food that you put in your mouth, even if you are trying not to be bulimic, even if you want to quit and stop. Your body is like, no, this is what we do. We are going to vomit. That was really, really tough for me. And I kind of got a handle of it, like on and off many times. It was just like, it's like insane to keep track of when I was and when I wasn't. As with Adderall too, like I relapsed like 15 times over the course of 6 years. But I got to a point, and this was March of 2019, and I was off drugs for 3 months, I believe, at this time. And I hadn't purged, and I was keeping my food in, and I was doing well. I was at work, and I was trying to peel an egg, and I just couldn't peel this egg. I mean, you know how, whatever. So I threw the egg away, and I was just like, this is it. I'm going vegan. Like I knew for a while that I had kind of wanted to. I just was like, I'm going vegan. And then, so once you go vegan, you're like Nancy Drew on labels. Like you literally, like that's what you do. You sleuth it out. I mean, you have to look at every freaking ingredient. And so doing this made me uber duper aware of what I'm putting in my body and how many fat grams I'm putting in my body and how many calories. And I'm not one for numbers. Like I hate looking at how much I weigh. I just don't do it. I don't look at calories. I don't look at fat grams. I just know intuitively, like this is enough, this isn't. Like now I do that. But like when I was anorexic, of course I looked at labels. Then being vegan, it was like, all right, we're doing this again. Like we're going to go back and do this. It triggered it. Going vegan for 2 months, I dealt with this. I was looking at labels and I was eating less food and I was throwing up that food. Like I would eat way less food. You know, I would have like bread or like some nuts, even nuts. Like it would be like, okay, I can't have this. And it would be like, I would eat a few, and I was throwing up at work, which I really didn't want to do at that job. Like, I mean, you don't want to do it at any job, but it was just like, oh, it was, you know, it's like crossing a line, kind of like, okay, once you cross that line, it's like, all right, we're just going to throw up at work now. Yeah. So I had anorexia now and bulimia. I'm vegan and I'm working out all the time. I was miserable. I mean, I was absolutely miserable. My mind was consumed with all of this. It was just too much. So of course I relapsed into Adderall. Of course. I mean, that was the next step, right? I think a big part of it was because I knew being on Adderall, I didn't throw out my food. I kept it all in because it just was an appetite suppressant. So it was an appetite suppressant, and so it really helped my regurgitation, my automatic body regurgitation mechanism that was always going on. So after I went and I saw my doctor and I got the Adderall, and you know, I'm fine, I'm not throwing up, and I'm still vegan. I'm vegan, I'm not throwing up, I'm addicted to Adderall. I wasn't just addicted to Adderall, like I was heavily addicted. Like I was abusing it. Like I would take like 4 or 5 times the recommended dosage, and I had a high dosage. I was so scared for my life, you know, like I just didn't know what was gonna happen, and I was so scared because it made me so paranoid being on it, and I thought that I could deal with it for so long, and I was just in so much denial. And you can check out my other video. I talk about how I adopted a cat. I was at the Animal Humane Society, and I just knew that like she was my ticket to being sober. Like I knew like once I got her, I would never do Adderall again. Since that July of getting Anya and never doing Adderall and stopping bulimia. So the bulimia stopped in May of 2019 because that's when the Adderall started. So, you know, it was like a trade-off with that. And I've only binged and purged. I only purged like a couple times, and it was because I think, you know, I document every single time so that I'm more conscious of it, and that I just don't just get in the habit of it. You know, I have to write it down every time in my journal. I know like there was one time I didn't get a job, and I was just so like, I was just so disappointed in myself and mad and angry. And like another time was when my mom got really angry with me. So what I've learned is like, these are triggers for me that make me want to hurt myself. So that's not okay. So being cognizant and writing it down, it's like, I am seeing that these are triggers that I need to turn around. So like there was another time that my mom, she said something really hurtful, and I got really angry. And then I went back up to her and I was like, hey, you know, I used to want to hurt myself by, you know, doing drugs or binging and purging, and I don't do that anymore. Like, I want to thank you for what you said to me, and it's just like this realization that I need something to heal inside of me, and so it's actually been helping me cope with a lot of other things, is like knowing like, okay, so if I want to hurt myself, like we got to switch this around. So this is my experience with going vegan and how it triggered my eating disorders. It was fixed by Adderall, and I'm definitely not saying if you are bulimic or anorexic or anything, go on Adderall. Definitely, I don't recommend going on Adderall for any reason. For me, it actually, Adderall almost killed me, and it saved my life. And I want to talk about that in another video. The way that it worked out and the way that I am now has really been awesome. And looking back, I've learned so much. But definitely talk to your doctor if you're struggling with an eating disorder. Speaking to someone, like even if you want to comment below, like I would love to talk to you about it. And yeah, so I just hope that if you are struggling with any type of eating disorder or thinking about going vegan and you're scared it's going to trigger an eating disorder, that, you know, just weigh out your options and speak to a licensed professional, and don't do anything drastic where you're going to want to take drugs or just hurt yourself. And just please, if anything, like what I've learned is my triggers and how I can better myself through each choice that I make. And, you know, like that need for control over everything is just kind of like dwindling, and it's like something that I'm working on every day. But yeah, I just definitely think that you can get over it, and if I can get over it, wow, anyone can. So yeah, I was in a deep hole before. So, but yes, I'm so thankful that you are here and watching this video, and I just want to thank you. So yeah, have a great day.